What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 4 Team Builder for NCL Season 10. Today we're taking on my good pal Mike and the Tampere Haxorus. Typically we have some pretty close and fun games against Mike, although I do have the upper hand by quite a large margin, unfortunately. But they're always fun, which is good, and I always feel pressured in prep, so I feel pressured in prep again. Mike has a pretty solid team, good mix of bulk and offense. The offense isn't unwallable, especially now that we've made some drops. So let me just talk about the drops really quickly. I said that I might make some after week 3, and of course I did, because we lost week 3, so it wasn't really good for me. So Reggie Lucky, I dropped that for Mudsdale. Palisand we dropped for Miltank, Scyther we dropped for Driftblim, and Druddigan we dropped for Cloyster. So add some actual setup threat to the team with the Cloyster and possibly the Driftblim. Add some really solid bulk with all of them. I keep the spin that I had with Regilucky with the Cloyster. I get 3 hazard setters, and I keep the defog that I had with Scyther with the Driftblim. So I think it's upgraded. It upgraded my hazards a little bit. It upgraded my removal a little bit as well, to be completely honest. Regilucky's just, it's not something that you can bring to every single game. Yeah, just overall, it's increased the bulk of my team, which seemed to be an issue in the last week and the week prior, but especially last week. I really felt that pain. And the week prior against Lux was brutal as well. And that was one of the only matchups where I really saw Regilucky shining for a good while. I mean, against Mike here, he's got a sand team, so there's no chance of that. Austin has a Zera Aura, so no point there. Regilucky actually might have been okay against Chibi's team. And it might have been okay against Pokefan, but he's got a Runerigus, which just actually hard walls any variant of Regilucky. It just straight up can't touch Runerigus at all. There's a Camerupt there. There's a Nidoqueen there. A Garchomp there. I mean, Regilucky is just not usable, to be completely honest. Yeah, none of these matchups look good for Regilucky, so I don't really regret that drop at all. But let's talk about Mike's team. He's got Tapu Fini, Kyurem, Blissey, Gigalith, Hoopa, Luxray, Mega Gallade, Excadrill, Crobat, Rotom-Mow, and Alolan Persian. Priority users is just the Mega Gallade with Shadow Sneak, outside of like Sucker Punch, Rotom, and Fake Out Persian. Hazard setting, he's got the Blissey with Rocks, Gigalith with Rocks, and Excadrill with Rocks. So just the Rocks on his side. Removal options, he's got the Fini with Defog, Drill with Rapid Spin, Crobat with Defog, and Rotom with Defog. And 4x weaknesses, just the Hoopa to Ghost and Dark. Ghost obviously covered by the Blissey perfectly. Dark isn't really covered that well, all things considered. It is pretty much just the Fini and the Persian that are Dark Resists. Persian doesn't really like taking special moves, and Fini can be worn down quickly. Unless it's getting a wish passed into it by the Blissey, and that is the biggest issue. So I'm not bringing any taunt users on the team this week, but that probably would have been a good idea, is bringing something like Taunt Heatran to shut down any sort of wish pass from Blissey, or teleport, just like Magma Storm, taunt it, and then get the Blissey trapped and deal with it that way. The only thing I'm not expecting him to bring at all is Luxray. I think Luxray is a pretty terrible matchup, in my opinion. It gets outpaced by a lot of stuff. It's hard-walled by Mudsdale. It's nearly hard-walled by Shaman. Yeah, and again, it's outpaced by a large majority of the team. I just don't see him having room to fit Luxray over anything else. The Intimidate also doesn't really help him much when Urshifu just crits it. If I'm predicting a 6, I would say Fini, Gigalith, Excadrill, Mega Gallade, Kyurem, and Crobat. That would be my prediction. Is those 6, I think, are the ones that are coming. Blissey, if it comes, I expect it to be Choppleberry counter. Some way to deal with Urshifu. And I would anticipate then, if Blissey is coming, a more offensively minded Fini, maybe like a Calm Mind Draining Kiss sort of set, would make a lot of sense there. So Finny's definitely the biggest problem for me. I struggle with that every time I play against it. The Excadrill, I mean, it's a known quantity. Mega Glade for the most part is a known quantity. Kirami's got some options, but we'll go through that in a second here. So on my side, I'm bringing physically defensive Reuniclus. This is my best check to the Mega Glade, to be completely honest. I am running Regen so that I can switch in and out on the Glade. I could have run Overcoat, but I also could have run Magic Guard. I just felt like Regen was the play for the Reuniclus here. Helmet, obviously, to get some damage off on it. I have Shadow Ball, Psyshock. Psyshock should hit the Blissey pretty well. The combination of Shadow Ball and Psyshock should hit everything on the team fairly decently. And then I've got Recover in case I'm staying in against the Glade, and Encore so I can like lock it into Swords Dance or something. And then swap into Urshifu maybe, and then get some pressure off with the Urshifu there. So that is the Reuniclus's entire job, is switch into the Glade. Mega Beedrill, I'm running 3 attacks SD Mega Beedrill, which is super weird, but I figure something like a Blissey kind of gives me a free turn, and I can SD on something like a Blissey, and then put on a lot of pressure. The Crobat's not going to outspeed me unless it's Scarfed. I'd imagine he's going to rely on Drill and Sand to do that, but it could also be Scarf Crobat or like Scarf Kyurem or something along those lines. I don't think that I kill Finny outright, but Finny is another Mon where I can kind of just SD in its face and then kill it, and that's kind of nice. So I'm running SD for that purpose only. I don't really see necessarily a ton of other options where I would click it, but U-turn, Poison Jab, Drill Run is more than enough, I think, to handle the rest of the team. Drill Run, of course, being for the Excadrill and the Gigalith. Poison Jab should be able to deal with everything else, including the Crobat, which I am outspeeding. I am outspeeding the Crobat with the speed, and it should outspeed Scarf base 70s, which is the Hoopa and the Luxray. I did calc that, so I should outspeed those, but rather than run Knockoff, I'm running Drill Run. I might actually change that to be Knockoff, because maybe Knockoff is just a little bit better for me. Drill Run is more consistent damage against those threats, but Knockoff would be better for the Crobat. I think I am going to change it to Knockoff. Getting rid of items is never a bad thing as well. So we'll just swap Knockoff on there. Yeah, Beedrill is likely going to be a lead option for me. It's definitely my best Finny killer, so I'm going to try and get it in as much as I can before it inevitably dies. It's a solid Glade answer. It's probably going to run Sneak for me, but if it doesn't, then you know, I am the only. This is the only thing that outspeeds Glade, so he doesn't have to run Shadow Sneak for it, but he might want to pick it off before it can do some real damage. Urshifu, I'm running Scarf Urshifu, which seems really obvious to me when there's a Kyurem on the field, as well as Mega Glade. I can't really just like handle Mega Glade without a Scarf. So I'm running Wicked Blow, U-turn, Poison Jab, Close Combat. Jab is there for the Finny. Iron Head doesn't cover it, so I have to run Jab, which unfortunately leaves me vulnerable to the Excadrill. It also means that the Finny can just easily run Kebia and be perfectly fine, but there's nothing I can really do about his item choices. Close Combat to burn through the Blissey, the Kyurem, the Gigalith, the Excadrill. He does have some good close combat answers, but he's also very weak to fighting on those other Mons. So it's sort of like a mixed bag for him, where fighting is really good against like half of his team and really bad against the other half, and that's where I'm going with that. Wicked Blow, of course, is good against everything that's not named Finny or Persian. Dark resists are very poor outside of those two, and I think Wicked Blow is pretty spammable late game. Enough speed for Kyurem, so I'm outspeeding Scarf Kyurem or +1 if he wants to be a Dragon Dancer, and I always threaten that out. Shaman, I'm running Physically Defensive Shaman. This is my Excadrill answer. Also Reuniclus can be a Crobat answer with this sort of set as well. So this is my Excadrill answer with Seed Flare, Leech Seed, Psychic, and Giga Drain. I'm not running Recovery, but I am running Leftovers plus Leech Seed, which should sort of help against the Sand, and if Blissey is coming, it will switch into a Leech Seed and give me a ton of health back. Psychic is there for the Crobat. That's the only purpose of the move at all. Although it can hit the Kyurem as well. And I wanted some extra recovery with the Giga Drain, but Seed Flare pressures a lot of Mons on his team. And this is the ideal Gigalith / Excadrill answer. So I might as well just lead with this. It depends on if I see the Crobat, because I think Crobat is probably his best lead option, especially against a Mega Beedrill. But if I don't see the Crobat, then I'm definitely just going to leave the Shaman. Fully physically defensive, like I mentioned before. Cloyster is a win con, potential win con for us. So I'm running Shell Smash Cloyster. I'm not going to outspeed the Excadrill, which is kind of the bad part of things here. I'm going to have to Shell Smash twice if I want to outspeed Excadrill. So it's not an inevitable win con, but if I can get rid of the Excadrill first, then it's an inevitable win con. I just need Excadrill gone and Finny chipped. Chip just a little bit, I think, depending on if it's Kebi or not. And then Cloyster can win, from there at +2. Shell Smash, Icicle Spear, Poison Jab, and Liquidation. So I've got Skill Link on there for the Icicle Spear so that it'll always hit. Poison Jab for the Finny, rather than relying on unreliable Rock Blast. I don't need the Rock Blast for anything else because Icicle Spear will beat Kyurem, Crobat, and Rotom pretty handily. And Liquidation for everything that I don't need to click Icicle Spear or Poison Jab against. I've got the White Herb on there to reset my stats after I Shell Smash. So once I Shell Smash, my defense will still be back to normal, my special defense will be back to normal, and I will have to worry about those a lot less. I'm running enough speed to speed tie Adamant or Modest base 70, so Luxor or Hoopa. I think if I was Mike, I would run Timid on those, but in case he wants to be a little bit spicy with his creeps, I'm outspeeding the Adamant variants. This will outspeed everything on his team. I didn't EV this to outspeed Scarf Crobat though, so that is something to keep in mind. I'm not actually sure if I'll outspeed Scarf Crobat. I have to imagine that I will not, but maybe I'll just do a really quick little ditzy here. 478, so if the Crobat is creeping something else, then maybe. No, it's probably not actually. I'm like 60 points off of the Scarf Crobat, but it may not have even been possible for me to outspeed Scarf Crobat with this speed stat anyways in the first place. Miltank is last, so I'm running Rocks, Body Press, Curse, and Milk Drink. This is a really strange set, but Rocks I think are pretty valuable against his team. I mean, I know he could run Boots on a bunch of stuff, but I like the chip against mons like Finny a lot. That don't have the recovery, the immediate recovery to punish me for that. Body Press, like this is my Kyurem answer pretty much. For Kyurem and Hoopa, it's pretty much just for both of those, except I can't actually hit the Hoopa at all. So that's kind of fun, but I can prevent it from being a Scarfer and just clicking buttons against me. Curse plus Body Press is the main sort of like way that I can break through some fatter mons. Especially the Kyurem, I've got the Curse there just to boost my attack and my defense a little bit to get Body Press going, and not make me as vulnerable to mons like Excadrill or Gallade when they inevitably switch into the Miltank. And then Milk Drink for some recovery. So I am actually thinking of just changing Curse to like Payback or something if I get that. I don't get Payback. Dark. Fling Punishment got deleted, so I don't have a way of hitting Hoopa besides Shadow Ball or Earthquake. I guess I could just run Earthquake. That seems fine. Building with you guys in here. Ice Punch maybe is better. Ice Punch is maybe better. Or Play Rough, because that'll hit Gallade as well. I mean, either way, the Hoopa's not really going to want to take a hit. There's only so many options. Thunder Punch isn't terrible, actually, because it'll hit Finny switching in, Crobat switching in, Hoopa, Gallade. Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Thunder Punch. We'll go with Thunder Punch. Bit of a weird last minute change there, but that's what's going on there. So in terms of what I'm not bringing, Primarina has a matchup, it's not coming. Mudsdale has a matchup, it's not coming. Drifblim has a matchup, it's not coming. Heatran has a matchup, it's not coming. And Perugly does not have a matchup, in my opinion. So that's well, actually, Pergly does have a matchup too. So honestly, like, there's a lot of different variants of this team that I could be bringing. I chose this version for this match, and if we rematch in playoffs or something like that, assuming I make playoffs, Mike and I are both 1-2, which is very, very unusual for both of us. We're both perennial playoff contenders here, so yeah, I don't know. Things are going very poorly for us this season, but if we do end up having a rematch at some point, then I have a lot of other different options that I can bring against the team. I think I'm more than happy to bring any one of my 11 Pokemon to this matchup. Um, but I'm rocking with this one, trying to get the win, and we'll see where we go from there. So that is going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys for the match against Mike and the Tampere Haxorus.